Well, hello model car fans. Welcome to the Muscle Car Modeler. My name is Rel. And this week I'm going to do a bench update here. And I've got a mess going on here. And this is kind of how I like it. But I'll get more into that, answer some questions, and share with you some of the things that I do. Maybe answer why I do them, whether it's an answer or not. But that's kind of how I work and how I like to build. And I don't always focus exactly on one kit, and I don't really know why or how to explain some of that, but I guess I will, and answer some of the other questions that come up every now and then and often spawn other questions. But first, it's really nice having Hobbynut Models as a sponsor, and Mark's pretty supportive, and just letting them know that, hey, I'm interested in this, I'm interested in that. And many of you asked, did I get this kit? Yes, I did. I had to wait like everybody else. No problem there. I didn't have any issue with that. Mark let me know what was going on and everything. But I did get my kit. And I do plan to build this. This will get built on the channel. And I kind of looked it over, and it'll be pretty much out of the box. But I have other decals, so I don't really like the hood decal on this. Others have said that. And also the rear wing. This is more of a 70 style wing. And I think I'll try and use the one from the 71 Duster, as it's a bit more correct. But I like what I see in this kit, and I do have a resin one that I'll compare it to. So there'll be some videos on this kit, but I'll get to this one here really soon. I'm not going to rush and jump right into it, but I do have a lot of the plans on this. So that was one that I've been asked quite a bit. So, I did buy this from Mark, but, he's been a great sponsor on that. And another thing too, with some sponsorships on the channels, if you're getting them direct from the kits or the manufacturers, I know that they ask you to build them right out of the box and don't really modify them. But I have that freedom, which is kind of fun, and I can do whatever I want, which is really cool. And that's kind of how I prefer it. But this car, being a Mopar guy, I've always wanted to build one of these stone stock. So that's what's going on with that one. But that's not going to rush right to the channel, but it will happen. But, that's kind of how it works with me. But some of these other kits and projects, like over the weekend, I went over to my friend Bernie's, and, he had some kits for sale, and I picked up a few. But he also has junk kits and parts kits, and it's always beneficial just to go over and look at them. And as I mentioned in my video on the Callaway, I picked up this kit. It's a parts kit, $4. And when I looked at it quickly, the glass looked pretty good, and I had some with the glass of scratches. It does have some scratches in it, but it'll polish out pretty nice. But the glass was good, and I had this thought of using the Callaway in this manner. But the front suspension was cut out of it, and the wheels are missing. There was some parts missing. But, being that it was what it was, most of the body was still here. I didn't cut any of this. This was already cut. And the front suspension is loose in there. But I decided, hey, I've been thinking about doing this. I took some measurements and put some tape on here and marked it, and decided I was going to use this as my mock-up and measurements to cut the glass out of this one. So I did all of that. And it really didn't take a whole lot of effort. It was a couple hours, basically, but nothing I was filming or worrying about. But this kid donated this hoop, the glass, both mirrors, and maybe even the exhaust, because this has center exhaust, and I may move it to the outboard exhaust. But being that the way this is made in there, I may not, because it's set up for the center exhaust. But this was kind of a kit that I've had, and it was a what if, and that's how some of these projects go. So being that I had two of these, I had the idea for a while that I would like to make a coupe out of one. So this one was spare, and I do this when I decide to do something like that. I'll put a piece of tape, and I'll mark what my plans are. So a lot of my boxes are this way when I buy them. I'll put what my plans are. Now, my plans sometimes change, but this one got a head start, and I did that to the body over the weekend and had some fun, and it went really well. So this one will definitely get bumped up into the project status and get built. But right now, it's as much as I want to build one of these, I kind of put it off. But over the weekend, I did play with this. I'm going to do a full video just on what I did with this, but I got the seats fitted in there pretty good. I'm not 100% happy with that. Got the engine down, that's in my video. But the oil pan and some of the stuff. So was working on this, but while this was mock-up glue was drying and some of that stuff, and digging through other ideas, like here's the hood, was kind of thinking about grafting on that hood. If I needed a clearance, it'd be kind of interesting to see a Corvette scoop, but I don't know. So this was kind of an idea. It doesn't really mean that's going to happen, as I want to keep the hood flat. But I got different scoops here, oil pans, but I'll get more into that particular build. But while that was sitting, a project that Angelo and I had started, I had shot the black on this. The body work was already done. It was already flat blacked. But when Angelo was over a couple weeks back, we went out shopping, and I was with him when he bought his Daytona, and next thing you know, he's got his Daytona here, which he admitted on his channel he had 2 more at the house, and he didn't realize he had 2. But he picked one up. I had one. Next thing you know, we're BSing at the kitchen table, and we're both pulling parts off the tree and sanding them and playing with them. And he's talking about the exhaust, and I'm just having fun with it, mocking stuff together. So, now the interior is fully done and detailed, and chassis done and pretty much ready. And this one being only 5 colors, really easy to build. But I shot this, and it's painted and ready. Put some decals on it and get this one moving along. So that's kind of what happened here. And then I also went through my Ferrari kits and pulled out some decals, because I do want to put the badge on the front and the Ferrari lettering on the back, which is another decal sheet. Yeah, right here. So put the Ferrari lettering across the trunk lid, which the TV car actually had, but the model kit doesn't have because it's not Ferrari licensed. But, I'm just kind of going for the feel and look of the Miami Vice one, and not really beating myself up to make it exactly like the 2 or 3 that were in the show. But this one's pretty much ready. Convertible top, I glued the glass in. It's still kind of drying, but I've been playing with that a little bit. And while I was doing that, here's my Porsche. Body's been painted. This one was painted a while ago, but the same brown interior that I sprayed on that, I was spraying the seats and stuff on this, getting the interior done on this one. So this weekend I really spent some time working on this interior and getting it pretty much glued in and all that stuff in there. So my Porsche 911 slant nose, this is pretty much ready for the motor to go in. Just got to put the decals on the speakers here, and maybe a little bit of detail painting, but most of the interior is just black or brown. And then I did paint the dash as well, but I need to put all the gauges in there and detail some of this up and glue this on. But this body's been painted a while ago. So worked on this one a little bit, and then the engine's right here, but I really haven't done anything. That was one of the first things I built, and it's been kind of sitting, but this is not, one that I'm rushing to build. It's been kind of playing around. And then I've showed you my Cameo before. So here's this. I mean, this one was pretty much cleared the same time the Porsche was. The Porsche and a couple of the others were done at the same time. But haven't painted the wood bed and blacked out the inside. I think I showed that in one of my other update videos. I really haven't done much here. But what I did start working on this weekend, chassis was pretty much done. But it was this interior. I actually sat down, got some more of the interior painted, touched up. The dash detailed, the steering wheel painted, and everything glued together. So I got this and the Porsche interior mostly done, and then this seat does fold forward and show you the gas tank back there, if you're familiar with the kit. But got this done, and it fits into the body really nicely. So this is coming along. I don't have much left to do to this one. I started working with the wheels and tires and playing around with that stuff. So that one's coming along. And then while I had my Dremel out and I was playing with some other ideas, that's what happened to this thing. Now, if you recognize this, it's a Revell monogram. 69 Corvette Coupe is what this is. Now, the 69 says Stingray right here, and there's a 69 door handle. but I wanted to make a 69 Roadster. So I had some ideas. I'm like, I'll just take this spare 69 body, since I basically have two of them from building the 69 Baldwin Motion GT Phase 3 cars, and those were both resin bodies. So I had two 69 bodies, well, probably more than that, in parts. So this one I decided, I first was cutting the roof off and was trying to find a way to graft the trunk of the convertible in, but since it goes all the way to the side, I'm like, all right. So I had a 68 body that was busted windshield frame, which is kind of right there. So I was trying to get an idea on how to cut this out and graft it in a 69 body and just, cut the whole roof off and just graft those two parts on. Then I had this idea, it's like, what if I just cut it right at the door seam and glue those together, so that all I got to do is worry about the door jamb will still be there, and then I can fill this in, but this can be also hidden by the chrome side pipe, because I want to make the ZL1 69 Roadster, the orange one that was recently sold at auction. And being that the 68 has different push button door handle, the door lock I should say, and doesn't have Stingray, foil casting the assembly and swapping it over, I could have easily added those to the 68 body, but I decided I was going to try and do it this way since the 69. And then so I cut the 68. So one of the other things that differentiates the 68 from a 69 is 69 has the backup lights in the tail lights, and 68 has them in this piece down here. Now I could have just filled them in and just puttied them and sanded them and left that alone, but I decided I was going to cut this out and swap them from the 68 to 69 just to see if that would work. So I ended up cutting this away and cutting this away. So this is 68 body, this is 69 body, and this is 69 body. And this is what's left of my 68. And the windshield frame is broken. Kind of a delicate repair, but I can repair that, but I didn't bother messing with it just yet. So I cut from here, worked on the back of it, and then the nose I cut off because I've got another resin body that a piece of the nose is broken and I can use that to repair it. So I just cut that off and threw that in that box. But if I can get all of this body glued together, then I'll have the 69 Roadster that I would like to build, and then graft the windshield frame onto it. So there's a bit of work, but this is just experimental playing. And if it becomes successful, I'll end up building it. And if it doesn't work or I mess it all up, I've got other bodies and I can continue on and maybe come up with a different way of making the 69. And then I also want to, take a 68, make a coupe out of it and build a 68 coupe. So that'd be pretty easy to do. Basically sand off the Stingray, change the panel to add the 68 backup lights, and then I pretty much got to change that push button handle right there I was telling you about to convert one of these from a 69 into a 68 and keep all the coupe body together. But anyway, that's just kind of the crazy stuff that happens in my mind, and I start doing this stuff. So, I get going on this, and maybe that'll work. I'll get spur of the moment and decide that I'm going to do it, because I want to add some styrene to the back in here to give myself the lip to help this stuff glue together. But, when I get into digging and more gluing, I'll end up doing that to this one as well. So when I get to the bodywork stage of that, I might be playing with this body as well. And who knows whatever else I might pull off the shelf and start working on. But that gives you an idea of what goes on in my head and some of the things that I end up doing, and try not to focus too much on some stuff. But some of these kits end up in the box, and then I try to remember exactly where I left off. So I'll open it up and go, oh yeah, I wanted to do this. And while I'm painting the interior of this, I want to do this one the same color. So I'm like, all right, now I got two interiors that I'm working on in that color, and that works out for me. And that's kind of how I work. And some of it's just convenience. So, hey, I'm using that color and I want to do that to this one. So now I'm working on 2 kits, or I'm working on 3 kits. Or while I can't go any farther with that one, glue is drying, things are setting, and I really can't do much to it at this point. So I'll work on something else. Did the paint and body work on this one, or got the paint and everything. I'm like, all right, clean my airbrush. Still have my airbrushes out, but this one is painted, so I'll go put that in the garage, let it start drying, then dig out the interiors of these two, start working on those. And while I had the Dremel out, start cutting this one and the other one, just playing around. And that's kind of how my weekend went, or some of my weekends go, and never really know what I plan on doing. Sometimes I'll have ideas on what I'm going to do, but sometimes I jump into doing something else, and it just kind of snowballs. But that's how it works. But anyway, I hope that answers some of your questions, and you get a glimpse into some other projects. And when I finish them, I'll feature them as finished, of course. But some of these I just don't intend to film, and don't really worry about filming them, because filming what I'm doing adds a whole nother level, and making the videos is a bit of work too. So anyway, that's kind of plenty of rambling on this one, and showing you what's going on. So I want to thank you guys for tuning in, subscribing, and checking out our sponsor, of course, Hobbynut Models, as I mentioned earlier in the video, as they're a big supporter of a lot of YouTube channels, not just mine, but they're a big support, and Mark's a lot of fun and a builder as well. But anyway, you guys, thank you for all your support and all your comments and shares and likes, and hit that bell button, of course. And you guys, you have a good weekend, and I hope you get some model time as well. And I'm going to get back to playing with my stuff too. See what I get finished soon. I'm kind of wondering which one of these I'll get done first. Daytona, the Cameo, or the Porsche. Because all three of those are really close, but not. But anyway, you guys, I'll see you next weekend.